Every morning you always had to say it, and people have been gravitating to it. And I just want to say it with you.
What I'm looking for is in me. The past has no power over me. Negative thoughts have no power over me. Today is a wonderful day and a new beginning because I choose to make it so. Yeah, that's it right there.
Where was that originated from for you?
In my teenage years. I mean, I never knew that phrase would be something I would instill within my children and that they would even remember.
Yeah.
So, parents, talk to your kids. They may listen, they may not, but you still have to say it. Just because you don't think they'll hear you, don't not say it, still say it. And you never know what will happen as a result of that. So, because I really am blessed and fortunate that you guys remember that and a lot of other things that I've taught you. And I'm a proud parent, and I love you guys.
I'm a proud son, and I love you more.
Oh.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for doing this. I know this is out of your comfort zone. I know this is not something that is normal for you to do because you like to be behind the scenes.
Exactly.
But one thing I think is important right now is for people to see the woman behind the good works. People see me on camera, they see me on TV or whatever the case may be, and they don't see the person that made it happen, the person that sacrificed everything. And I'm gonna try to set out a goal to get through this thing without tearing up, but we'll see how that goes. I wanted to do this also because of the fact that I'm 23, I'll be 24 pretty soon, and I want to track the growth of appreciation that I have for you too. And I'm trying to talk to you, but it's like I feel like I might spend most of this time just telling you how much I'm grateful for what you've done, because I look around. I mean, even in the room we got right now, it's just all these guys that are around that have been enamored by the character that I have, and that's because of the work that you've done to not only myself but my two older brothers as well. And I want to start off by just saying thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
I never actually have gotten the chance to ever sit down and just ask you about the feeling about having 3 young boys and having them turn into 3 young men. I mean, from a perspective that you have, not even looking at the accomplishments that my 2 older brothers and myself have individually done, but like, just what's that feeling like for you?
Honestly, I don't know if I could put it into words. I mean, overall, you guys were good kids. Good kids, a little wild at times, but that's where I came in to help guide you. But you guys were good kids, and I always told you that I saw you before you were born. I saw you before you were born. I was pregnant with you. I saw you being showcased with your 2 brothers. I mean, you guys were like on like a turntable or something, just going around, slowly going around. I saw, your oldest brother, Andre. I saw a duck. And then I saw you, and I was like, who is that kid? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the child that I'm pregnant with. I didn't know what it meant, had no clue. I'm like, God, what do I do with this? So, you were born. Because of the dream I know that I had, or the vision that I saw before you were born, I knew that the 3 of you were destined for something that's great. And I knew that it was just my job to help guide you guys, because you all were like strong-willed boys. You guys are just strong-willed, just so determined, really focused. I'm like, oh, wow, they're focused. And you guys were a lot different from me. I mean, you guys were how I always wanted to be, if I can say that. But no, you're not. What you're doing, no, I'm not living through you. No, I'm not living through you. I'm not living through your brothers. What I am, I applaud you guys. I'm appreciative of you guys. And I love that you're walking in your purpose, because I always tell you guys, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, but go for what it is that you want to do first. What your purpose is, you gotta go for it. If you fail, just keep going, try again, because you will not be happy on this earth if you don't fulfill that what you were brought here to do. A lot of people don't know that your birth was not an easy one, and I always kind of joke now, but it wasn't a joke then. When you were born, the umbilical cord was wrapped around your neck. You didn't cry. The latter half of my pregnancy, I always knew something wasn't right. And for a mother giving birth and you don't hear your child cry, it was overwhelming. It was like a deafening silence. Nobody would tell me what was going on.
Wait a minute, so I came out the womb and I ain't made no noise?
Yeah.
I made up for that. I tell you, I done made up for that.
That's why I said you went from chord to chords.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but
that's good.
But yeah, I mean, that nobody knows that story.
Yeah.
Everybody was just silent, and then I don't know what they were doing down there. I was told later they were moving the cord from around your neck. So then I heard you cry, and it was like music to my ears.
Right then and there, I hear what seems to be like the beginning of what was consistently the theme that I've always seen you as. You heard an inside voice within yourself to go a certain way when people were telling you, or whatever the advice was, to maybe deviate from that. And it seems like that was the thing that you always used to keep you going forward. You know, rather than to ask where does that come from, I want to understand like what kept that going, because you know it can always come from something or some experience in life, but like that gut feeling that I feel like I'm born with, my brothers are born with, that's what got me to doing what I'm doing. But you know, people always want to know, what did your mom tell you? What did she teach you? And you know, of course you taught me certain things along this road and along this journey, but I think, you know, I'm a visual guy, I've always been. Your actions have always shown just to move in a way, you know? And for some reason, you've always kept that about you. And I'm just wondering, how did you do that?
Well, I touch upon myself a little bit. In the days of my youth, I let people talk me out of what I wanted to do. And I was determined if I ever had children, there's no way, no how I would let that happen for them. Kids will be kids, but it takes that parent or that adult to offer the guidance. You were a strong-willed child. Strong-willed.
That's one way to describe it.
You know, going to daycare, you just wanted to dress up in a suit.
But talk about that though. Okay, you about to get there. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
like that's the thing that gets me too. Like sometimes people see who I am now and they think like, oh man, you're just putting on this facade or whatever the case may be. But like this has been who I've been forever.
This is you. This is who you've been.
I've been dressing like Mr. Rogers since I came out the womb.
It wasn't Mr. Rogers, but I love Mr. Rogers.
That's been a big part of not even just me, but like Duck, and I'm thinking Andre as well. Like we just always carried ourselves in that way. You know? And it's weird though, because it seems like that's just been the upbringing that we've had, even though we were in an environment where so many of our peers weren't like that. You know, I think like even going to school and just being in certain classes and just seeing my peers, and you know, we all lived on the same streets. We all had the same pretty much ingredients to be whatever we could choose to be. But for some reason we chose a different route, you know? And that does speak highly on you as well, you know?
Thank you. When you guys were little, we did educational games. I always made education fun because I knew education was the key for you to get out and explore the world and do the things that you want to do. You know, so you guys learned to read at an early age, ride in the car. You know, we had to make up stories. Each person, you know, had a word they would say, the other had to add to the word, and we did stuff like that riding in a car because I knew that would boost your creativity, for one, and also introduce you to using more words. So I made education fun. You guys didn't just go outside and play with other kids, that's true, because I felt if you were outside, you needed to have a destination. If you don't have a destination, you're not going outside. And no, you're not going to the playground, because the playground is where things happen.
Right.
And that's where fights start, that's where kids, you know, bully and all that other stuff. So if you went outside, you had to have me or another adult with you.
Just to heighten that level of understanding, there was no other adult. It was just you.
Okay, so you guys didn't go outside.
So it was never that. But at the same time, like, you know, that single parent upbringing in an environment where it was, I mean, it was, not only was it maybe difficult, but it was, I think I just look back and sometimes I'm frustrated just thinking about how much it could have been more simple. You know, if we're all on the same page, you know, like in music we always say, if everybody was on the one, we'd sound so much better as a band. But like in this case, if every parent or each parent understood the importance of, you know, putting egos aside, putting pride aside, and investing in individual characters. I mean, I credit you for doing that with the cards you were dealt, and knowing that our dad wasn't around like that, and now currently in life, what I pride myself in about you, and I want to make sure this is publicly known about you, is that you've never bashed him. You've never done that, and you've never made him seem like the villain. And when in times where you maybe could have, or whatever the case may be, you made an initiative to say, hey, you may not have a relationship with our dad, but that doesn't mean that we don't have to have a relationship with him.
Right, that's true.
And so you've always made that accessible. And I think that is so important for people to understand, parents to understand that too, because it's like, there's so many people that will just, oust that other parent, whether it be the father or the mother, and then just make them seem like they're just nothing, or they're worthless. But I think that's doing the exact thing that you shouldn't do,
Right.
My father's decisions that he made at this point 15 years ago, I don't think that represents who he is as a man now.
Right. Right.
And I don't think that, he should be penalized for that.
Correct.
But at the same time, I'm different. I'm a grown man now. So
Right.
There's a level of, investment that I maybe don't have like I maybe wanted to at one point in my life. And that's natural. And, I think in due time, if that allows itself to happen, that relationship will be built. I always try to tell people this. People ask about you. I say, I think my mom crawled in her purpose so we could run in ours. Or walk in ours, or whatever the case may be. You took the leap of faith to, have the strength, first of all, to not give up on us when you probably could have. I think about that. The idea of even raising children is daunting for most people. For you to have the ability to just persevere, throughout the difficulties that may have been, just to see what this could have turned into. I thank you for that. I want to also highlight something too before we even wrap up. I want to actually thank you for something. Recently, I've been experiencing a bunch of I feel like ebbs and flows within my professional career right now. And I call you all the time talking about people said they were going to do something that they didn't do. They were supposed to air this, they didn't air that. This television show was supposed to do this, and this producer and this person. And usually when I talk to you recently, I'm always talking to you. And in the past, you'll say something, and then I'll be like, I'll get upset. And I'm like, you don't understand, you don't get it, because you don't understand this business, you don't understand what I'm doing. And while you may not be in the music industry or whatever the case may be, lately I've been asking you certain things, and you've just been silent. And I've been mad, but I'm like, why aren't you saying something? Why aren't you saying anything? And then you'd be like, well, because you didn't listen the first time. And then it hit me around, the second, third time of me complaining to you, you just stopped talking as a whole. And I was like, man, why? It just feels like she's not understanding, like she doesn't care. And I'm like, no, she does care, because she isn't responding. Because she knows that in order for me to experience and understand what I'm going through, I gotta just do it myself. And I think, I'm not a parent right now, but I feel like, in a sense, your level of teaching has been past you telling me what life is about, rather than me seeing what life is about and you just foundating me in what you've already explained. You know what I mean? And I think that's a level of understanding that I didn't realize. Now I'm starting to understand the art of just being silent, or knowing what silence means. Because most of the things I feel like I might already have the answer to if I just sit down and shut up.
Exactly. Exactly.
And for some reason, I feel like a lot of my peers, a lot of people, not even just my generation, but just, even people older than me, we always feel like we have all the answers to everything, but we don't have the right questions to anything. We don't know what to do. And I think if you just sit back and listen to the inner thoughts, listen to the conversations that you have with people, you, and the invaluable conversations we have, I think I always say when I'm back home, I'm like, I see you more when I'm out of town and living in Boston or whatever than I do when I'm actually here. And it's because of the words that you say. It's because you're always ringing in my ear, even when I don't want you to be ringing in my ear. When I'm doing something I probably shouldn't be doing, but I thank you for that, and I thank you for being the purpose-led person that you have been.
Oh, thank you.
For at least 21 years, because I don't know how old you are at this point. I thank you. I honor you. This glass of water is for you. Cheers. Thank you. for being here. Thank you for doing this. I know this is out of your comfort zone. But
It
you know
is.
what? We made it happen. I think the people are going to be pleased. They should be. If they're not, that's on them.
But I'm ready. I want to do the interview now.
We already did the interview now. We done did it. At this point, I was just letting out my
You should
frustration.
have did this with me at home.
You don't even know. What you mean?
It was some things I didn't even get to say.
What did you not say? We done say. I got a meeting with an 18-year-old mayor that I'm waiting for right now. You want to sit here and talk?
I am not moving from this chair until I get it.
That is totally fine. We are going to use the couch for this interview. So. Yeah, that's Kofi B. Sheesh.